1%, and I expect in a few years it'll be closer to 5%, which is what looks really great when you optimize your portfolio. They're putting it in for different reasons. Many people are concerned about the dollar. Many people care about Bitcoin for the exact same reasons that a lot of people in this audience care about Bitcoin. And then other people are looking at it, like Robbie was mentioning, about a non-correlated asset that just improves the risk-adjusted returns of your portfolio. We see both of those paths, but increasingly we see the focus on the core fundamentals of Bitcoin. I think that resonates more and more with professional investors than it ever has before.
Jan, do you have anything to add there?
Yeah, I mean, this crowd might not like this, but the way I look about Bitcoin is it's sort of like evolving and growing up, right? So maybe it's a teenager now. It's not fully formed because so many investor classes haven't really joined. The toughest allocation question I have, and I know a lot of individuals think about this as well, is why should I be selling Bitcoin? If I believe the super bull case, why am I constantly selling into this bull market? I mean, we just came out with research that talked about a price close to $3 million a coin in the scenario where it's adopted as a reserve asset globally. Now, that's very speculative, and that would be extreme adoption. But that's where professional investors like us in our day jobs say, oh, no, you've got to do mean variance optimization. You can't hold too much. And everyone I meet at Bitcoin conferences owns way more in their own portfolio. And I always say, wait a minute, I always want to tell people what I'm doing personally because they should know, right?
Well, what are you doing personally?
I'm in like way over 30%.
Okay.
Wow. All right.
Anything to add?
You walked into that one. I think that the thing that is so important to watch is that trading correlation with equities. Because, through most of Bitcoin's life, that was close to zero. That's really compelling for a lot of investors from a portfolio standpoint. For a couple of years post-COVID, when interest rates were driving, every asset under the sun, it spiked to a pretty high level. If that comes down closer to zero, you're going to see that portfolio allocation case get a lot easier for some of the big institutional investors.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen that breakdown. Over just the last couple of months, we've seen a huge divergence from the big tech names like NVIDIA. And so you're saying that's a good thing in your view, even though it's a negative performance return. But
yeah, but it goes the other way too, right? And that's what's important.
Okay, just wondering, Matt. I mean, large cap tech right now, and I don't get way off balance, but the indices, the ETF industry follows passive indices, and all of these indices are chock full of the mega cap tech. How do you see Bitcoin evolving? Is it always just going to be outside of all the traditional indices and people that need to make up their own minds?
In terms of how
much they own, yeah.
I mean, I don't think MSCI is going to add it to its index of stocks. I think it's outside of that. But I think it'll fit into a portfolio context the same way other asset classes do. Right alongside stocks and bonds, you'll have your crypto allocation. And I think that's what we see.
So you're touching on model portfolios a little bit here. Model portfolios